Hi everybody, Tim here again. Thanks for coming back to the channel. Today I want to talk about EQing your guitars, and more importantly, just getting rid of the EQ entirely. Never use an EQ again. Okay, maybe not never again, but I want to show you a way to use the microphones that you use to record your guitar amp. And for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be using the virtual mics and the virtual speakers in the free version of Amplitude 5. Okay, so let's come up with a scenario. You're in your studio, you've got your guitar ripping, and you think you've got a great tone happening. You are on fire. Okay, maybe that wasn't on fire, but you were on fire, and everything was sounding great. You go to record things, but something's just not quite happening. Like you're going to hit some high notes. You got a nice sound down here in the low register. There's a lot of nice beefy chug to the tone, but then you go to hit like a, and these high notes up here, they're just not cutting through. And you want them to cut through. You want them to have more presence. You want the low and the highs to really be all there. And it's kind of feeling like, you know, maybe something's not cutting through. So your first instinct is going to be to slap an EQ on there, boost the highs, and that might get you where you want to go. But I'm going to show you something that's going to, maybe not really save you time, but save you some tweaking in your mix stage if you get it right when you record. So let's jump over into Reaper. All right, so here we are looking at the free version of Amplitude 5. And we are looking at the recording room, the studio room that you are using for your cabinet. And I've got a condenser mic, and what else have I got up here? A dynamic, and a couple dynamics, and some condensers on the room. We're looking at, which room is this? This is the amp closet. Again, these all come free with the Amplitude 5. I kind of like this sound. It's got a nice tight, not a whole lot of echoiness. That might be great for another sound, but for the tone I was going for with this, you know, the amp closet kind of worked. And then I got a 412 cabinet and a couple mics on it and a couple mics in the room. This is great that Amplitude gives you all these options to mix, and you can really dial in your tone pretty well with it. But there's a trick you can do with the mics that's gonna save you some time EQing later on, and it's just moving the mics. So listen to what happens here. Let's just solo one of these mics. The mic up here, this dynamic on the top left speaker of the cabinet. And you see when I hit those notes on the high E and B strings, they're there, but they're not there. Let's just move this mic a little closer to the center of the speaker. And listen what happens. Already we're hearing a lot more of that top end, but we're still getting a lot of that bottom end. Now let's switch to mics. And here's what this other microphone, this Dynamic 441, sounds like. You can see up there on the screen, it's way out towards the bottom edge of that top right speaker. And it's a very dark sound. Which is good for getting some more of that bottom end chug. But let's again just move that in a little bit more towards the center. So we're still getting a little beefiness. Let's go back just a hair. Just a hair. Kind of split the difference. That kind of works by itself. It's not getting a lot of those high notes like we were going for, but it's still maintaining that low bottom end. And when we mix the two together, I think it's going to have a real nice effect. Let's go and take a look at the room mics for a second. Those are the ones up here. We can kind of bring those all the way in, or we can spread them out. And you can hear if you got headphones on that really just opens up the stereo spectrum there. Now let's put everything together. Listen to those harmonics, man. All right, so that's basically it. And now you've got a tone that has a lot more dynamic range. You've got that low end, and you got the highs. Now, if you take that sound and you throw another EQ on top of it when you go to mix, you're going to have something that has more options for you to mix it in against the other instruments or the voices, the keyboards, whatever else is going on in your song. So before you go and start stacking EQs up on your track and other effects, play with the mics. And obviously that's something that's a lot easier to do in something like Amplitude by yourself. If you're miking up a real guitar amp, you might need a second person so that you can stand back away from the amp. Because if you've got headphones on, but you've got an amp going, full bore in front of you, you're catching all of that sound, and you might be drowning out what's actually coming through your microphone. So you might need to get a buddy or your girlfriend or your kid or something to move the mic around, and you might have to set up some hand signals. Go a little further that way, back this way, up, down, until you get something that you're a lot happier with. Because sometimes you can think the amp sounds amazing, and then you throw up a mic and you go to record and you're disappointed. Play with that mic, man. Virtual or real, play with that mic. All right, everybody, that is it for today. If you got some value out of this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you know when I post something new, and be sure to follow me on all the other social media sites. Please be sure to visit my website too. and check out my song on Spotify. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.